As a worldwide battle, World War II altered the trajectory of human development. As a result of the convergence of nations, innovations, and ideas, significant strides were made in science and technology. World War II left an array of astounding findings, including groundbreaking technologies, hidden riches, and surprising facts. So, we'll look at the top 10 greatest discoveries made during this turbulent time in humanity's history. 10. The pigeon bones with a secret code. From the beginning of World War II until 1957, carrier pigeons were widely used by armed forces throughout the globe. Spies found great use in carrier pigeons, whose main purpose was transporting secret data between bases and behind the enemy's lines. After the war, more efficient means of interacting were developed, and these strategies were rendered obsolete. David Martin, 74 at the time, found the carcass of one of those carrier pigeons in his chimney in 2012. He claims to have stumbled upon the skeleton while working on some house improvements. A bird skeleton was lodged in his chimney, and it had been there since World War II. The bones were found with a crimson canister and a covered letter remaining attached to its leg, a common practice among military personnel. But what it meant has remained a mystery to this day. 9. The uncovering of MA-262 jet. The advent of air combat during World War II caused widespread destruction of water, land, and the skies. More advanced warplanes and armaments were developed as the conflict progressed, increasing the loss of life and property on both sides. There have been several reports of the recovery of doomed World War II aircraft bombs, but a real jet fighter was just lately unearthed in the Netherlands. In October 2014, an aircraft was discovered in a farming area near the Diemen Air Base in Arie, Netherlands. A Messerschmitt 262 was that kind of plane. It is speculated that this airplane was brought down by enemy fire on September 12, 1944, close to the community of Elden, and that it has stayed in that location ever since. Its pilot, identified as Unteroffizier Schotter, perished in the crash as well. 8. An aircraft lying in the dunes. After being missing for 76 years, the remains of a World War II combat plane were discovered by a British pair on the shore. Unbelievably, the aircraft had lain buried in the shore sand since World War II. Reports indicate that the aircraft is most likely a wrecked Bristol Beaufighter. The British Royal Air Force Museum could trace the model number to verify that the plane had originally belonged to the 254th RAF Squadron. Likely, the plane went down on April 21, 1944. Soon after takeoff, the plane experienced engine failure. Due to the World War, no one returned to the shore to retrieve the plane after it crashed. The two beachgoers who made the find were the most taken aback by it, having walked that same stretch of beach numerous times without ever spotting the plane. 7. The backyard bomb discovery. In May of 2021, a housewife from Missouri, Pamela Coffey, went out to tend to her yard. One day, while she was digging in the grapevine rows, her spade struck something solid. So she searched for a while and eventually unearthed a small fragment of metal that fitted in the palm of her hand. She took a keepsake back to her house, hoping that she and her spouse might figure out exactly what it was. And then, she spotted the Japanese writing that identified the tiny metal object as a bomb. They phoned the police, and they arrived quickly and confirmed that it was, in fact, a bomb. At which point they did nothing more. The police claimed that the award was a mortar from the Japanese Navy during World War II. They shockingly reported that it was still active, so they summoned a bomb machine from Scott Air Force Base to dispose of it. 6. An underground shelter. A guy in England who had lived in his house for 40 years uncovered a long-lost secret buried beneath the grass. He found a World War II-era air raid bunker that locals had utilized as a haven during German bombing assaults. Kandu Patel is the person who lives here, and he works as an administrator at a nearby school. He ultimately chose to uncover the manhole cover in his yard and find its purpose amid the coronavirus outbreak. Kandu found a set of stairs leading down into a small shelter, measuring about 5 by 10 feet beneath the manhole. It wasn't jam-packed with priceless antiques, but it was nonetheless A fascinating discovery. Even better, Kondu didn't let the area go to waste and remodeled it into his private bar. 5. Discovery of thousands of silver coins. A team of people from the United Kingdom, consisting of both men and women, were successful in unearthing a large trove of silver coins, estimated to be worth $44 million. This was found among the remains of a vessel the Germans drowned to a historic depth of 17,000 feet. The SC City of Cairo was the name of the vessel in dispute. The vessel carried both passengers and freight. Over 100 pieces of silver bars and coins belonging to the United Kingdom Treasury were among the ship's varied load. A U-69 discovered the boat on November 6, 1942, and it was then subjected to an assault with bombs, which resulted in its sinking that same day. In November 2011, the salvage business was charged with locating the ship's remains. Although the investigation proved difficult, much of the lost silver was eventually recovered. 4. The Musashi. The Musashi was a massive Japanese warship with a length of 862 feet and a displacement of 73,000 tons. One of the most massive vessels ever constructed, the Musashi could accommodate 2,399 sailors and was armed with 9 types of 18-inch guns. The Musashi was in many conflicts during its peak. Unfortunately, the U.S. forces destroyed the naval vessel on October 24, 1944. On that day in World War II, the United States and Australia fought the Japanese in an action known as the Battle of Leyte Gulf. After the conflict, everyone believed the Musashi was destroyed beyond recognition. The magnificent Musashi sank nearly 83 years ago, but in March 2015, American tycoon Paul Allen revealed its discovery. The ship is currently resting there, awaiting excavation. 3. The dead bodies. As the name implies, Death Valley is a terrifying location in Poland. It's the site of horrific burial grounds where murderous German teams murdered dozens of people between 1939 and 1945. However, historians have begun digging lately, and the results are deeply unsettling. Investigators uncovered the personal belongings of individuals unlawfully executed and recovered bullet pieces that they believed were used to murder innocent victims. However, discovering human remains together with bone and teeth pieces, barely 1 foot below the surface, was the most unsettling discovery. It is further evidence of the Nazis' brutality in Poland that they killed these people without regard for their safety. Pistol casings and ammunition were discovered at the location, indicating that whoever was executed likely had their heads shot off in proximity. 2. The T-34, a Soviet tank. When the Soviet Union sent a T-34 tank to the Eastern Front in 1941, the course of the battle shifted. Professionals on German tank defense said that the Soviet tank had superior armor to their own. Attacking German forces were stunned by the T-34's capabilities. The Germans got a head start because of incompetent earlier Soviet leadership and the fact that they had adapted their legendary 88 mm guns into anti-tank weaponry. The German 6th Army was nearly wiped out at the crucial Battle of Stalingrad, largely thanks to the superiority of the Soviet tank. In 2015, swimmers in the Don River discovered a fully assembled Soviet T-34 standing on its side on the riverbed. There was a great deal of fighting in the vicinity during the siege of Stalingrad. The armored vehicle probably came from the Stalingrad tractor factory. At first, divers believed the tank had fallen into the water while trying to walk over an improvised bridge. Investigators found the tank in a spot where the water was too low for the tank's 30-ton weight, and no one could explain how the tank got there. 1. US Independence aircraft carrier. When the first nuclear weapons were tested, the CVL-22 was one of 90 ships tasked with the Operation Crossroads mission. These activities were happening on the Marshall Islands' Bikini Atoll. The vessel was sunk in 1951. The shipwreck wasn't discovered until 2015. Sonar photos of the debris were collected, and academics started comparing them to previously declassified records. This led them to discover that between 1946 and 1950, The vessel had served as a radiological laboratory and a repository for nuclear waste. One of the first vessels to transform a mini-carrier aircraft, this vessel pioneered its field. After the war, it became part of the fleet stationed about 1,700 feet from the epicenter of the bombings and was given the code Operation Crossroads. That's all for today. Do you love discovering new things? If yes, then our channel is a treasure trove of knowledge, experiences, and discoveries. Now hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss what's coming up.